The moment I sensed the storm brewing was when I spotted Ethan in the break room, reheating a plain black coffee in his chipped mug at exactly 3:47 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. No small talk. No nod to anyone passing by. Just that faded slogan on the side, audit with integrity. Most folks at Infotech Solutions saw Ethan as a dinosaur, a holdover from the old days. The new ops director, Alex Turner, had cracked jokes about him being pre-cloud-era baggage in staff meetings, thinking it landed like a punchline. But what Alex didn't grasp, and what twisted my gut every time I caught Ethan jotting notes in his slim leather-bound journal, was that Ethan wasn't just pushing papers. He was the vault. He never barked orders or stole the spotlight in huddles. But there were these subtle tells, the extra key fob he kept on a separate chain from his ID badge, the way he triple-initialed every vendor entry, how his workstation always lagged like it had hidden firewalls nobody else dealt with. One afternoon, I glimpsed him slipping a dark blue binder back into his desk drawer, locking it with his left hand while timestamping a log with his right. The spine label was scrawled in sharp block letters, Attestation Authority sealed. He noticed my stare and offered a curt nod, nothing warm. Just a cool acknowledgement from someone who understood how one loose thread could unravel the whole damn tapestry. Ethan had been with Infotech for over a decade. The unsung guardian of our federal infrastructure contracts, those massive deals worth hundreds of millions tied to the Department of Homeland Security's grid modernization projects. Whispers in legal painted him as a legend, the sole custodian of records whose signature kept the feds off our backs. No one else could proxy it. It was his name or bust. But Alex, with his tailored polos and Silicon Valley sneakers, paraded around wielding his tablet like a scepter, hacking away at inefficiencies with buzzwords like agile scaling and lean ops in one exec sync. I watched Alex brush off Ethan's quarterly compliance rundown like it was junk mail. Appreciate it, Ethan, he muttered without looking up. But we're pivoting to dynamic workflows. Less red tape. You know? Ethan just closed his folder, nodded, and exited. No fuss. No pushback. The next day, though, the compliance suite was bolted shut for hours. When Ethan emerged, he held a tiny USB in a tamper-proof sleeve sealed, labeled, dated. People wrote him off because he dodged the office politics. No after-work beers. No team-building ropes courses. No emoji-laden Slack threads. But Ethan controlled the archives, the master approval chains, and that shadowy federal audit trail nobody dared probe too deeply. Alex didn't bother easing in by his third week. He was slashing budgets like a kid in a video game, high on power-ups. The first reorg email blasted out on a Monday morning, Phase 1, aligning for strategic velocity. By lunch, old school roles in supply chain and procurement were phased out. Whispers rippled through the halls, legal was twitchy. Audits skipped vendor checks. A contracts guy got his badge yanked during a Zoom call. Still, Alex swaggered like he'd conquered Everest, quoting LinkedIn gurus as gospel. The real gut punch hit in Thursday's leadership powwow. Alex unveiled a glossy flowchart with flashy arrows and boxes tagged core functions and non-essential. He jabbed at one, smirking like a late-night host. Let's face it, he said, eyeing his reflection in the conference table. Ethan's record-keeping is the outdated adhesive holding back progress. Compliance is overhead, not horsepower. No one chuckled. But no one challenged him either. I glanced at Ethan, parked at the table's end like always. He didn't twitch, just kept his hands clasped over a plain manila envelope, the kind he toted like classified intel. After the meeting, I caught him by the elevators, watching the floors tick down. He doesn't get it, I murmured. Ethan didn't turn. He doesn't need to. Time handles guys like him. The next morning, Ethan was ghosted from the quarterly compliance prep invite, first time in 11 years. No heads up. Just omitted. I was in the room. His usual seat by the power strip sat empty. Alex steered the session like a blindfolded driver, tossing terms like optimized handoffs and vendor velocity, but it was obvious nobody knew where the DHS audit chain even began. Someone piped up about attestation timelines. Alex dismissed it. We'll slot someone in. It's boilerplate. Ethan's name didn't even surface. Friday brought the hammer, a company-wide email dubbed Ops Efficiency Feedback, Confidential. Rate your peers on criticality, cost, and alignment, a spreadsheet with drop-downs next to colleagues' names, including our own. Alex spun it as a collaborative audit. I saw it for the snake pit it was, a veiled purge masked as input. Ethan stayed mum. But by noon, I spotted him extracting a small safe from under his desk, tucking it into a nondescript tote, and strolling it to archives. No drama. No cloak and dagger. Later, the archives clerk shrugged when I asked, legacy credential set. Custody protocol. Offboarding? No. But he's gearing up like someone is. They summoned him at 4:32 p.m. On Friday, classic gutless timing. Not even a full hour to clear out. I was grabbing water when Ethan passed, clutching only his badge and that manila envelope. Alex trailed like a peacock, fist-bumping HR like he'd nailed a deal. No warning. No handover plan, just vanished. The meeting clocked under 10 minutes. I timed it. By 4:41, Ethan reappeared in the hall, composed as ever, holding a white envelope marked Exit Protocol. He paused at the elevators, glanced at it once, and slipped it inside his folder like junk mail. No outburst. Just that eerie calm, like he was the only one tuned to the ticking bomb. Alex emerged seconds later, high-fiving a newbie. Clearing space for innovation, he broadcasted to the cubicles. Can't drag dead weight. Then he slammed his door. I wanted to check on Ethan, but he moved with purpose to his desk, notebook, sealed envelope from the drawer, black USB with a security tag, into his bag. HR barely glanced, shoving him a half-filled offboarding packet. Those unchecked boxes, system access, asset logs, compliance handover, weren't oversights. They were grenades. Alex botched it all. No inventory pull. No successor for compliance. No query on the attestation keys. To him, Ethan was a line item slashed. Victory. Ethan said zip. But 2 minutes post-HR, he planted in the lobby cafe, cracked his personal laptop, and drafted an email. I passed close enough to glimpse. Subject, termination notification, custodian of records. Recipients, legal@infra-tech.com. And a CC to a non-company domain, federal oversight. Attachments, and signed exit PDF. Blank handover form. Timestamped badge pic by the sealed vault. He hit send. Shut the lid. Shouldered his bag. And exited Infratech like abandoning a doomed vessel he'd flagged months ago. We didn't clock it then. But Ethan hadn't just quit the scene. He'd yanked the linchpin. The email pinged legal at 4:58 p.m. Friday, 13 crisp words, attestation not executed. No continuity. Logs inaccessible. Most of legal had bolted for the weekend. But junior associate Sarah Klein, fresh from law school and glued to her inbox, scanned it twice, then dove into the files. She knew Ethan's rep. His SIG was the backbone of our DHS deals. Clause 14.7b in the federal appendix was ironclad. Custodian must affirm record continuity before any role shift or exit. Breachman audit hell. The attached checklist? Blank. No handoff. No backup named. And that embedded packet with a time-locked hash showed logs sealed post-firing, pure violation. Sarah fired off escalations, her boss. Then the chain. By 9:17 p.m., she phoned compliance lead Mike. At 10:12, General Counsel was on emergency Zoom, projecting Clause 14.7b in glaring bold. Who signed Q2 continuity? Crickets. Ethan. Backup assigned? No. Offboarding complete? Skipped. Ethan morphed from fired relic to missing key. Those logs tied to DHS contracts, millions at stake. Potential clawbacks. Bans. Even probes. They tried overriding access. System spat back. Custodial signature absent. Chain broken. Forensics consultants couldn't crack it. Ethan had fortified the platform years back against a shady vendor's backdating scam. Bitter irony. Alex axed the locksmith they now begged to unlock. By Sunday dawn, legal dispatched a red-flagged brief to CEO Victor Lang's personal email. Breach risk. Custodial lapse. DHS. X017. Sleepless eyes scanned. What if the one you deemed disposable holds the kill switch? The DHS notice dropped Monday at 8:06 a.m. encrypted. Urgent. CC'd to Victor. Compliance. And the federal auditor. Concern. Attestation chain interrupted. Custodian absent. The Q4 forecast meeting devolved into crisis mode. Coffee went cold. Victor reread. Jaw locked. At its core, Ethan's missing SIG on Q2, Q3 logs. No transition docs. Alex lounged back, smirking faintly. Timing glitch. Memo it away. Call it drift. General Counsel Elena Yen let the quiet fester, then leaned in. You don't get it. Ethan signed everything. You bypassed revocation protocols. No handoff. You severed a live federal chain. Alex stammered. Yen sliced. No. You can the legally mandated closer. This is breach land. Victor paced the windows. City blurring below. Threats? Yen flipped. Back audits. Hold. Penalties falsification if logs tampered post-termination. Per Ethan's alert. HVAC hummed in the void. Alex rallied weakly. Get him to sign retroactively? He won't tank us. Yen's gaze pierced. You bet on goodwill after screwing him? You never knew him. Noon brought triage in a dimmed conference room, laptops aglow. Blinds shut. Plotting damage control. Sanitize logs. Retrosign. Metadata scrub. Rationalized desperation. They access the vault. 4 packets clean. 1 hash thread. Yank it. Repack. Backdate. Internal stamps rarely get poked. Shredder rolled in. Printouts stacked. Logs. Snapshots. Sign-offs. Alex hung back, giving space. Mid-shred on the first set. Sarah froze. Stop. Blade's word. She pointed. Second doc sealed 2 hours post-firing. Ethan's SIG and ink. Timestamp verified. Key hash matched. Impossible, he'd been out. Metadata tied to his exclusive terminal. Whispers, post-access, or forgery. Yen stared. Either breach on control or federal falsification. And we've tampered. Shredder off like a live wire. Full sweep. Chain on everything since termination. Temp plummeted. Third-party auditors summoned. Cleanup? Now poison. At 3:18, Victor entered. Ashen. Status. Yen handed the ghost SIG. He sealed after you cut him. How? Victor, what was his play? Yen, that we'd shred before seeking truth. He nodded out. Map his remnants. Every file. SIG. Flag. Touch nothing till we gauge the blast. Tuesday. 9:14 a.m. Ethan's phone buzzed at his kitchen table. Coffee steaming from the chipped mug, a trophy from the fray. Unknown. But company code. 2 rings. Then, Mr. Caldwell? CEO Victor Lang's office. Pause. Victor, Ethan. You know the mess. Ethan sipped. Silent. We need your help resolving compliance gaps post-transition. Ethan, not help. Attestation. ENULAC chain to request. Static. Victor, consulting gig. Short term. To clean and comply. Ethan, my terms. Flat. No glee. 1. Indemnity for all SIGs under my chain post-termination. Written. 2. Retainer triple prior pay. Monthly. 1 year min. 3. Exec clause. Permanent custodian on DHS, X017 and futures. Irrevocable sans 90-day notice and regulator okay. Line dead air. 4. Alex stays clear, no talks. Emails. Breaths. He does. I bolt. Victor sighed, drafting. Ethan hung wordless. 3 hours. Courier with sealed contract. Fancy pen. They caved. Indemnity bulletproof. Bonus retro. Direct report to counsel. Ethan signed. Logged in 32 minutes later. Access revived. Logs pristine. He approved the flagged file. System breathed. In the war room. Relief washed, but Ethan hadn't rescued. He'd installed the gate. And now they paid toll. Ethan's return was ghostly. Platinum badge. Escort to a glass-walled suite beside counsel. No cubicle drudgery. Plaque, E. Caldwell. Federal Risk Authority. No hellos. Just space. First act, draft policy on continuity and exits, mandatory. 6 pages. Routed top-down. No custodial role ends sans 60-day transition. Dual SIG. Regulator alert. Policy in 48 hours. Alex vanished, shunted to advisory, Slack dark. Name scrubbed from chains. No mentions. Ethan dove in. 37 logs pending. Audits read. Manual reviews. Seals. Uploads to DHS portal. Read-only granted. Friday, DHS reply. 1 line. Status restored. No action. Execs exhaled. But processes now orbited Ethan's rules, the glue Alex sneered at. 3 months on. Routine DHS audit, no scramble. Just Ethan preceded. Notebook ready. System open. Auditor scanned 43 minutes. Silent. To Victor, custodian. He pointed, wall plaque. Etched, Ethan Caldwell. Compliance sovereign. She, solid. Sign-off clean. Infratech wasn't just compliant, armored. Alex? Erased. A cautionary fade. Ethan never bragged. The plaque reminded, not ego. But the price of erasure. When a newbie asked sovereign, Ethan murmured, mission critical isn't a label. It's the SIG you crave when regret hits.